He used to text you back within minutes. Now his phone sits face down on the counter for hours. He used to plan the weekends. Now he asks what you want to do, then agrees to whatever you say. You watch him staring at the same page of the same book for 20 minutes, and you feel it, a slow, invisible retreat. And your brain, trained by every romance article you've ever read, whispers the same conclusion. He's lost interest. He's bored. He's checked out. But what's actually happening beneath the surface is something no one told you. The man in front of you may not be indifferent at all. He may be drowning. And the specific way he's drowning has a name most women have never heard, even though the psychologist Terrence Real spent his entire career naming it in his landmark 1997 book, I Don't Want to Talk About It, and later at the Relational Life Institute he founded. Real calls it covert depression. It doesn't look like depression. It doesn't cry. It doesn't announce itself. It looks like a man who has quietly stopped trying. And here's the part that will rearrange your whole map of him. Real argues that boys, from around age 4, are systematically trained out of vulnerability. Sadness gets punished. Softness gets mocked. Fear gets called weakness. By the time he is a grown man, the emotional wiring is intact underneath. He still hurts, still panics, still feels overwhelmed, but the pathway to expressing it has been paved over. So when life stacks on him, a career stall, a body that no longer performs the way it did, a failure he can't fix, the pain doesn't have language. It doesn't have exits. It has to go somewhere. It goes into withdrawal. Not because he doesn't love you, because he loves you and cannot bear for you to see him small. The psychologist Ronald Levant coined a term for the underlying condition. He calls it normative male alexithymia. Alexithymia literally means no words for feelings. Levant's decades of research show that most men raised in traditional masculine norms have a diminished ability to identify, name, and describe what is happening inside their own bodies. A woman feels sad and knows it is sadness. A man feels sad and knows only that something is wrong, something is heavy, something is off. He can't tell you what because he doesn't have the words either. So he does the only thing his nervous system knows how to do. He hides. And this is where the second layer opens. Underneath his silence is not boredom. It is shame. And shame is not an emotion the way sadness or anger is an emotion. Shame is a whole-body collapse. The researcher Brené Brown, who spent over 2 decades studying this exact state at the University of Houston, defined shame as the intensely painful feeling that one is fundamentally flawed and unworthy of connection. Not, I did something bad. I am something bad. Brown draws a distinction that changes everything about what you are witnessing. Guilt says, I did something bad, and guilt can be repaired. Shame says, I am something bad, and shame can only be hidden. When he goes quiet, he is not refusing to talk to you. He is hiding a self he has decided is unworthy of being seen by you. Shame does not want to be witnessed. Shame wants to disappear. Shame makes eye contact hurt. Shame makes his phone the safest object in the room. So he retreats to his phone. He retreats to work. He retreats to the same page of the same book. Have you ever wondered why he flinches when you ask what's wrong? And in that same moment, something is happening in you too? Your own nervous system is reading his silence as rejection. Your brain is a threat detector. His face going flat, his eyes going somewhere else, his body turning 3 degrees away from yours. To you, all of it registers as abandonment. So you move toward him. You reach. You reassure. 2 nervous systems, both flooding, both trying to save the relationship, both getting the intervention exactly backwards. Now here is where most women, out of love, do the one thing that makes it worse. You offer generic reassurance. You say the softest, kindest things you can think of. It's okay. I love you. You don't have to be anything for me. We're fine. Your voice is warm, your intention is pure, and to his shame-flooded nervous system, every one of those sentences translates into the same private sentence. She has noticed I am broken. She is being gentle with the broken man. She pities me. Generic reassurance in a shame state does not dissolve the shame. It confirms it. Terrence Real observed this pattern for 30 years in his clinical work with men and their partners. He watched wives lean in with love, and he watched husbands recoil further into silence, and neither one could figure out why kindness was making it worse. Real's work at the Relational Life Institute eventually gave language to the intervention that actually works. It is not softer, it is more specific. The pattern is called specific behavior appreciation. Instead of reassuring him about who he is, you name one exact thing he did. Not his character, not his worth, not "you're a good man." A behavior, a moment, a minute of his day that landed. You brought the groceries in without me asking. Thank you. The way you handled the call with your mother last night. I noticed. You made coffee the way I like it. It mattered. You paid the electric bill on Tuesday, and I didn't have to think about it once. Do you see what just happened? Shame is a global verdict on the self. I am worthless. Specific behavior appreciation cannot be metabolized as a verdict on the self because it is not about the self. It is about one action. One competent, real, verifiable thing he did in the world. His shame has no place to land it. His nervous system receives evidence, not sentiment, evidence that he is still functioning, that he is still visible as a doer, not as a broken thing being witnessed. Generic reassurance is a spotlight on his wound. Specific appreciation is a spotlight on his hands. The neuroscientist Antonio Damasio, in his research on somatic markers, has shown that the human brain updates self-concept far more powerfully through specific, embodied evidence than through abstract statement. Telling a man he is loved when he feels worthless will bounce off. Telling him the exact way his hand steadied yours yesterday will not. This is not a communication trick. It is a nervous system intervention. The psychologist John Gottman, after 4 decades of studying couples in his research lab at the University of Washington, found something that maps onto Real's work with eerie precision. When a man's heart rate crosses roughly 100 beats per minute during emotional conflict, his prefrontal cortex begins to disengage. Gottman calls this diffuse physiological flooding. In that state, listening becomes neurologically impossible. Reasoning becomes neurologically impossible. The body has one instruction: get away. This is what stonewalling actually is, not stubbornness, a shutdown he cannot override with willpower. And once you understand this, the story of the man who stopped trying begins to look different. He is not indifferent. He is ashamed of something he cannot name, in a language he was never taught, watching the woman he loves try to reach him with the one kind of kindness his nervous system reads as danger. He is not gone. He is hiding. You are not crazy for feeling him pull away. You are exactly right. You just misread the reason. The next time you see him staring at the same page, or scrolling with dead eyes, or agreeing to whatever you want because he no longer trusts his own preferences, do not ask him what's wrong. Do not tell him he is loved in the abstract. Look for one specific thing he did today. One moment his hands were competent in the world. And hand it back to him. Exactly. without softening it into a bigger statement about who he is. Watch what happens to his shoulders. He used to text you back within minutes. He used to plan the weekends. He is still that man. He has not lost interest in you. He has lost sight of himself. And the way back is not the softest words you know. It is the most specific ones.